Alright, so we talked about some running plays that we had that I liked a lot in terms of where we were able to successfully scheme the run against a stacked box by leaving key players unblocked and running away from them, holding them with that bootleg action. Here are a few plays that we have that should not have worked. Okay, this is not as intelligently schemed. This is more of a sort of a up the gut run. And we can see as we bring, I believe that's Watson, in that motion, the Chargers move from their too high safety shell. They're going to screw this safety down in the box. This guy's going to go to the deep middle, and they're going to show that they are in a single high defense. Okay, so at the snap, you can see this is 7 men in the box. We only have 6 blockers up here. That means we have somebody unaccounted for in the box, and we need to be able to find a way to run away from that guy, leave him out of the play, as opposed to what we do here, which is to try to run it right at him. And so we're lucky that this play worked. This is fortunate, and this is Trent Richardson being awesome. So we can see we got 8 to 10 yards out of this play, and it's a great job of Trent by making a little move in the hole and then getting downhill fast. He shoots out of a cannon through the middle of this formation and gets all the way up to that safety on the third level. But that's despite this scheme instead of because of it. So we see as we bring in motion, that safety actually walked out wide. We can see him just off to the left of the screen here. I believe that's Weddle. We're going to see the front shift over. They're at head up on the guard here. Those two techniques. We're going to see on the snap, play side's going to go to the left of the screen. We got a good double team on this lineman. One of these two blockers can come up for this backer. We have that tight end who is in motion. I believe that's Watson on this backer. We have, block on this outside backer and block on this lineman. Safety is not accounted for. Okay, so this might be a design sort of cutback run where we're trying to run away from that safety. But it looks an awful lot to me like Trent is trying to actually hit this hole, and that's why Laval has to leave to go block 32 here. Okay, so this is a great job of Laval of getting just enough of Weddle so that he can't make the play, and of Trent making this nice little move in the hole and getting out of the way of this down lineman who's no longer blocked but isn't making a tackle either. We have another nice hesitation move to wait for this seam to open up. Great vision to anticipate it happening. Then out of a cannon, putting your head down, finishing a run hard. You got to love to see this right here. Look at the 26. He's going to try and take on Richardson high, and he's going to bounce right off of him. Trent's still standing. Second guy can't bring him down either. And finally, Trent sort of dives forward to try and get a few more yards out of that. You got to love it when your running back can finish a play like that, beat up on the opposing secondary, and make them think twice about coming in high for that tackle. Okay, we've seen good runs where we scheme against a stacked box and we know it's coming. We've seen runs where we didn't scheme too well against a stacked box and they worked anyway. Here is a run that should have worked, and the execution was terrible. Now, we see the situation. It's 3rd and 24. It's a clear passing situation. We might not get 24 out of this, and you can see the Chargers aren't going to let us just walk down the field and pick up 24 yards through the air. They're playing off coverage on the corners. They're playing 2 deep safeties. They're probably in quarters here, which is sort of like a 4 deep zone. It can turn into a matchup man if you want, but you see this right here, they're not letting us throw it for 24 yards. So we try to run a little trap play, and this is just a miserable failure. I don't know if we got anything on that. Should have gone for way more. And we're going to see how they confuse us here. Typically, the trap play is going to work something like this. We're trying to trap this guy right here, this defensive tackle. It's a passing situation. We know he wants to charge up the field hard, penetrate in this B gap here, try and get to the quarterback. we're going to let him go. We're going to see Laval pass set for one step, let him go, and leak up to get this linebacker. Now, why would we just let a defensive tackle wreak havoc on our backfield? Well, we have him accounted for. We're pulling the guard around, and that is the trap. He's charging upfield, and then boom, from the other side of the formation, this guard is going to pull and meet him back there, kick him out, and that's going to help us create a hole. Now, typically in the trap game, you want to trap the 3-tech, okay? The 3-technique defensive end. That means he's not on the head up to the center 0, inside shoulder center's 1, head up on the guard is 2, outside shoulder of the guard is 3. Okay, so that's a 3-technique tackle. These are guys that you're going to hear about in the draft who are typically a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker, sort of the version of Billy Wynn. Billy Wynn would be our version of that guy. Good pass rusher, penetrating defensive tackle, getting up the field. So you want to run it at him, number one, because of his the personnel, the mentality of the guy that usually plays this position. Penetrate, get up the field, rush the passer. So you're going to try and use that against him, but also schematically, just from a structural standpoint, that's where the trap happens best. Typically, when you get a 3 here, you're going to get a 1 technique here to the other side of center, and that's easy block for the center to make. Here, the Chargers go wide. They go with 2-3 techniques, and they're sort of leaving a gap in here open. They only have 1 linebacker in here. So we might not have even needed to try to trap this play. We could have just had Mac come up and block this guy. Both guards kick out, and we've got a gap in the middle if we want to run it. So, you know, I'd love to see us be able to audible out of this play or change this play so it works a little differently. So first thing, I want you to watch the backside of this run play with Mac and Thomas and this defensive tackle right here. You can see that this defensive tackle is lined up over the guard. This is a tough block for Mac to be able to snap the ball, get all the way out there, and effectively block him. Now, he still gets a piece. Joe Thomas steps in to help out for a little bit, but they've also got to block this linebacker out here, and that's usually Thomas's man in the trap game. So Thomas kind of slows him down for a little bit, but that man already has a head of steam that's 300 pounds, and he's able to get in there and help make this a difficult play for Trent. On the other side, on the play side of things, the trap side, we're going to see some other things happen. First, Laval does a great job, pass set for 1, come up to get this linebacker. Okay, he's doing a good job, fits that linebacker pretty well, and Trent would have had an easy cut off of him up in his secondary. We're going to see, usually Schwartz is going to pass it as well, try and draw this defensive end up the field, and take him out of the play that way. You're actually going to see a little stunt from these 2 players, and that messes with our game as well. So ideally, Schwartz would see this man going inside. He'd block on this guy, on this defensive tackle, and leave this stunting end for Greco to come pick up. Okay? Instead, Schwartz is sort of confused by the stunt. Little rookie mistake here, and he isn't able to block either of them. Greco is sort of forced to choose, and he takes the guy that he sees as more dangerous, being the defensive tackle who's already in the backfield. Okay, and typically that's, as that offside pulling guard, you're just looking for somebody penetrating. You're going to go hit him. You're not too concerned with the other guy. That's supposed to be this man's responsibility out here. So if this goes the way we think it will, this tackle will penetrate, this end will rush wide, and we'll be able to kick them both out, from Greco kicking out the defensive tackle, Schwartz kicking out this end. Doesn't work that way. The end is able to collapse inside and get the first real contact on Richardson. So, you know, if we could just pick him up, and we should have him accounted for in the running game. That's not scheme, this is execution. Just in terms of the sheer arithmetic, the situation, we should be able to have him blocked. And Trent should have a little clearer of a path up into the secondary. Hey, who knows? You know, it's not very likely that you're going to convert 3rd and 24, but if you got 33 running wild back there, maybe it happens. So I would love to see this play. I would love to see us either be able to check to a different blocking pattern or more of a straight run where we just block man on here, man on here, man on here, and then have Mack. He can fit this linebacker any way he wants, really. Give Richardson a two-way go off of him. We already have the leverage, the sort of the blocking angles that should be able to kick out these defensive tackles and open up both these A gaps for only Mack and this linebacker to be in. Now, we could also think about switching the man that's doing the trapping. We could also think about having Greco blocking on this defensive tackle, and Mack goes to kick out the far side as Laval leaks up to the middle. Okay, so basically switching Mack and Greco's responsibilities, and I just like that in this situation because it makes that block a little bit easier. Mack doesn't have this crazy sort of blocking angle where he has to come way out wide, sort of wait for Greco to leave behind him, and then come way out wide and sort of try to reach inside and borderline, have to tackle this guy. I don't care how good a center you are, he's just going to be late getting there. So if Mack could be the one trapping and blocking, kicking that penetrating defensive tackle out, I like that a little bit better in this situation. So that sort of scheme and that sort of, I think, growth within our offense would give us a better chance of succeeding on this play. But it is a run called where we had the numbers to account for people and we didn't get it done. Okay, so we looked at a play where we had numbers to account for everybody in the box and we didn't get it done. Here's how it's supposed to look. Again, we got two high safeties. I'm not sure, this is a 1st and 10, so it's not even necessarily a passing situation. Two high safeties. We're going to see again corners playing off. The guys that we don't have scheme to block, counterparts for the ball carrier and the quarterback, are these two men. We're blocking everybody in the box. Hat on a hat. Richardson gets all the way up. That's a good 11, 12-yard gain on 1st down. That's exactly the way you drew it up. Here we got 6 in the box. We got 6 blockers, 5 on the line, 1 tight end. And this is pretty much straight old school football. We're going to pull the backside guard. So we do try to move the gaps a little bit, make it a little confusing for the defense. But we got Thomas out here. We got Mack on this guy. We got a double team between Laval and Schwartz on this guy right here up to this linebacker. And we're going to pull Greco around and have him meet either the safety or this backside linebacker in the hole. So it ends up being the front side linebacker. Same concept. We got, look at all these, 1 orange hat, 1 white hat. That's exactly what you want. Richardson has a nice big hole, and this is stealing 12 yards at a time down the field.